Hello, hello, hello. This is Ross Fertel, faithful reader on the forums, and I'm coming to you with a series that I call Drive from Work. For those of you unfamiliar, when a set comes out, I'll look at the cards, see the chatter online, and give some comments as best I can, incorporating forum threads and Discord chatter as best I can. Remember, I am driving, so I'm not really able to refer to my notes directly. Trust me, that will become evident very quickly. But with Dramatis Persona, we got 6 cards today. You saw 5 on the main page article, but there's also a social media spoiler. Yes, I will be covering that card. It'll be at the very end. You will have a chance to duck out, so just be sure to leave if you want to remain unspoiled. So looking at the set in general, it's called Dramatis Personae. It's based on, it came about with Revised Premiere, really only helping out for affiliations. So with this set, we've got a card for each affiliation. So there's 15 total personnel, including a brand new affiliation, the Zindi, which you got the briefest previews in a prior set and also in last month's rules document. So yeah, that'll be fun and exciting. Looking at the intro article by Patty Ty on the front page, this is both a star power set and a set with personnel in off-color affiliations. As someone who's seen this set, you're in for a treat. As someone who's done lore for this set, you're in for a treat. So, without further preamble, let us start with the personnel who's, from what I can tell, by far has the most chatter about him, Zephyr Cochrane in Starfleet. He doesn't bring a whole lot new to it, but he is a good VIP personnel. There are quite a few in the affiliation already. He has a good download with where no one has gone before, and he has the OCD icon, and there's a lot of chatter in the forum thread linked down below about the ways that can be abused with These Are the Voyages and the Phoenix. Remember, Phoenix reports to 2063. You still have to acquire it. You still have to get that puppy up into space. One of the things you could do is get it reported to the Phoenix, land it, and then throw that puppy back up into space. But the Phoenix itself is still non-aligned. Don't really see a Starfleet version of that coming out, unless something wonky happens, but stranger things have happened. We'll see. So yeah, good personnel. Expect me to say that a lot. Expect me to say that a lot when talking about these cards. Then we're going to go to the personnel that we saw during the 30-year preview with the Kazon Doctor. He's got a lot to do for the Kazon, as Patty said. He's got some skills that they need for some, and he's a hologram, so he's got some good stuff there. He adds a lot. The treachery isn't something that he really adds to the Kazon, but it is very useful to the Delta Quadrant Federation. A lot of the revised personnel have treachery. A couple of the Equinox personnel have treachery. But by and large, Delta Quadrant does not have access to a lot of treachery for their Federation specifically. I know their support with non-aligned, so that does give them a route to go to without resorting to the revised personnel. And I do also want to note that there is a pretty good choice with the Federation, because even though the Doctor does have the treachery, he doesn't have any skills in duplicate. The original Federation Doctor does have, I think, double medical and double astrobiology. Do not quote me on that. Again, I do not have it in front of me. But yeah, they do make a good choice with which version to use. Speaking of good choices, we have Flocks of Borg, the latest counterpart. And there are a couple reasons to use him. The first one is just as a good counterpart for the skills. Most of your counterparts have like Honor, Treachery, Officer. Phlox himself has Honor. It just depends on what personnel you have in your deck and what skills you want to have there. Without a willing companion to make another counterpart. So it just depends on the skill matrix you want to use. Otherwise, the skills are pretty readily available. You're only really getting one of the skills outside their deck out of the deal. The Honor, others have like Law, Officer, skills you'll need to pass some dilemmas and such. The other thing is to use him for Starfleet counterpart. Patty said in the article about the stealableness of Earth, or lack thereof, and also the next time Starfleet is popular again, and there will be times where Starfleet is popular again, you will want to use them. You'll want to use Phlox as your counterpart in order to have fun and stuff. Alright, and that takes us to O'Brien. He is Bajoran only. Makes him a little special. He doesn't really have a lot to really offer the Federation. Actually, he has too much to offer the Federation with that download. They can still use him with a treaty, but in that case, they're probably just going to use regular O'Brien. Bajorans do have engineers. They don't really have engineers this good. And yeah, he's O'Brien. He does not have Miracle Worker, and he's not a member of the clergy. He's not a resistance member. He's just O'Brien. He isn't even a Bajoran. So there's no really easy ways to get him in play, but as Patty showed with his article and that deck today, there are a lot of really good uses for him, especially with that download. The village is strong! It's an event. Once per game, you can prevent a civilian from dying, which is good. There are some really good civilians out there. I'll also note that he could sub in a dilemma. He could sub in the Dal Rock for a dilemma, which story mode is freaking awesome. And in terms of gameplay, it allows you to be riskier with your dilemmas. You could put more dead ends out. They hit one, they hit the other one, you could just swap in the Dal Rock. You have a dilemma that you know really won't hit, you can swap in the Dal Rock. This is a trick we've seen with other cards, but yeah, there are some cool things you can do, and the Dal Rock is a pretty nice dilemma to put in there. Alright. I would have said that's all for today, but that does not include the social media spoiler. So if you are going to duck on out, thank you very much for listening. Even if you're not going to duck out, thank you very much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow with whatever card is revealed and dig deep in it. I do like that a lot of these personnel are personnel that you really want to play. They aren't especially easy ways to get them in play. That seems to be kind of the theme here, but yeah, these are cool personnel. All right. So without further ado, get into the social media spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2. Tamir! Who would have had that on their bingo card? Tamir. Okay. She's not a star. She was only in one episode, and we don't really even know if she exists, being perfectly honest. She's also not 22nd century, so she's still does have some cool things she can do. I did look at the Ada cards. There's not really one that jumps out to me. She is still a pretty good science. So good things you would want to have in that deck. And you can see a future time location making use of those Vulcan personnel, which means we'll probably be getting those other Vulcan personnel. It is a pretty cool idea that they had. So yeah. There is a special skill. I really wish I had her in front of me so that I could tell more about how awesome she is. But yeah, pretty cool personnel all